As film students, we get asked to do some out there things. Adapting Whinnie the Pooh in the style of Agnes Varda was one of them. My name's Tori, and it was my job to figure out what on earth we could extrapolate from Whinnie the Pooh to make a documentary-style piece for this unit. But together with my friends Ivan, Emily, and Cherise, I think we got something.
I am Holly Foskett. I study fine art. I'm 22 years old, and this is George, and he is also 22 years old.
Has he been with you since birth?
He has. I think maybe 2 weeks old. I stole him from Sainsbury's.
Okay, so who do we have with you today?
This is Pinky. She's a little monkey that I got when I was about 7 from a zoo.
So, do you guys have any childhood toys?
Childhood toys?
As in teddy bears,
I do.
stuffed animals?
Yeah, I have a little German Shepherd plushie I've had probably since birth, called Duncan, and I still have him here at uni.
Okay, what about you?
I had when I was 2, I still have it, but it's a snow leopard, and I called it Snowy, and I got it from Chessington Zoo, I think.
So, who is this with you?
Yeah, so this is Trundle. We actually won Trundle at a fun fair. Me and my partner Robin. It was quite lucky actually. It was one of those pick up the duck things. And of course those things are always rigged, but I think Robin had pointed out oh my god, this one's adorable, we need this one, and so the person running it was yeah, no, you want this one, of course. My toy bear Trundle means a lot to me. She's been on quite a few travels with me, strapped to my bag. Maybe I carry her around with me for good luck, comfort, or maybe just because she looks cute and goes with my coat. I don't know. Decided to take Trundle on a journey, meeting new people and seeing new places, in order to find out why people are so attached to their stuffed toys. What do they mean to us now that we're adults? So, what's the craziest place George has been to?
I wouldn't say crazy. I mean, the furthest place he's been to is Rhodes, which is a Greek island. Crazy? I don't even know.
Where's the craziest place Pinky's been?
Pinky has seen a lot of She's been places, let's be honest.
She's been to Florida, actually. That was pretty crazy. She's been in a nice villa in Florida. I went to a Disney World with my family and my cousin's family, and I think probably the bottom of a chlorinated pool is the craziest place that Pinky's been.
And so, me and Robin having the attachment to this guy, I would come up and visit Robin when they were here at university and I was back in my hometown, and Trundle would sit in my bag like this, come with me on the train. And yeah, so Trundle's been lots of places, lots of stories to tell. Exploring London together was amazing. Coming from the countryside, the big cities always made me feel so small. Is it weird to find that comforting? Speaking of small, I wonder how Trundle must feel. Trundle hasn't been to London before. Maybe she found it scary, maybe exciting. We did meet plenty of other toys looking for owners though. I don't think Emily and Cherise were convinced by any of them though. Working on this project actually did dredge up some memories of mine. Although I have much more than enough stuffed toys now, I thought of it as a somewhat recent development, maybe even spurred on by my partner. But looking back, I always had a connection with stuffed toys. As a kid, they would bring me quite a bit of comfort. I even recently remembered that I had a YouTube channel for them when I was about 10, which, as a film student, is a lovely bit of legacy to have behind you. Although those videos are quite cute in retrospect, I remember the embarrassment the most. I remember getting picked on for bringing my plushies into school with me, having them launched over the fence, thrown about as everyone laughed at my distress. I ultimately found it quite heartwarming that the people that we met didn't seem to have many similar experiences, that they were allowed to be kids for a bit longer.
I would never forgive myself, I think he means too much to me. I don't really get attached to teddy bears and like a lot of actual like objects, but because he's been with me for so long, I feel like he's probably the most important thing I own.
Oh, yeah.
Never lost.
Tell you what, I'll lose my head if it wouldn't touch my body, but I've always been very good with her. Because as I grew up, I got more and more panicked about losing her.
Never lost Duncan or anything?
Never lost Duncan, ever.
How would you feel if Duncan did go missing?
If Duncan did go missing, I'd be very sad. Actually, one time my ex-partner had Duncan at his house after we'd broken up, and I had to go on a full rescue mission to get that little guy back. But I did, and yeah, if he went missing, I'd be distraught.
After our trip to London, we headed off to our real destination, the place where this all started. Pooh Corner. Don't laugh. After some great food and a sea of Whinnie the Pooh history, the owner of Pooh Corner was nice enough to talk to us about Christopher Robin's favourite stuffed toys. So yeah, who are you?
I'm Neil Reed, and I'm the owner of a very famous little tea room in Hartfield in East Sussex called Pooh Corner that is world famous for being the home of Whinnie the Pooh.
Yeah, how did you come to own this place?
I used to be a customer here, and I absolutely hated it. I was very upset the fact that we would come here and it didn't really talk about the history, so it didn't have a museum, which it now has, and it didn't have many pictures about the family, and it kind of just didn't tell the story of Whinnie the Pooh the way it should. And for me, I always said, for some reason, I used a phrase with my wife saying, if I owned it, I would build a museum, and I would build a toy shop, and I would do this and I would do that. And actually 5 years down the line, I've done most of the things I said I would do, even though I didn't know I was ever going to own it. The weird thing about Whinnie the Pooh is that it was really written by A.A. Milne, not for children. He wrote it for himself, and he'd just come out of the First World War, and he was heavily fatigued by it and had what we now call PTSD. And it was really him writing about how people can interact without chaos and without drama and without the pain of combat. So if you look at all the stories, they're all based on a group of people that were in fact allegedly based around soldiers he knew. So Piglet was a soldier that wouldn't give up his rations, and Owl was a character or a sergeant that would happily let young men go over the edge knowing their fate. And he just used these people within the characters, but used his son in the books as a conduit to hold it all together. So it was all a bit of a bizarre accident. I've still got some Star Wars stuff, because I had Winnie the Pooh as a very young child, and then Star Wars came along, because I'm quite old. And I remember Star Wars hitting me in about 1980, and it was the coolest thing ever, and I've still got some of the original stuff. And yeah, I actually collect comics and toys and all sorts of strange things. So for me, yeah, collecting and having all these things, what they allow me to do, not just for Whinnie the Pooh here, but with my other collections of all sorts of strange stuff. Flintstones, Looney Tunes, all sorts of weird stuff I collect. Lego. It's all stuff that just allows me to explore that childhood and actually reminds me of the good things about living. The importance of childhood is the fact that kids do have toys. Like there is the danger now that all the toys have become digital, and the phone and the tablet and all these things are actually taking away the physicality of the imagination. I know that sounds really old and boring, but the truth is that sometimes you just need to have a doll, or you just need to have an action figure, or a truck, or any toy that allows your brain to do the thinking rather than the screen telling you what you need to think. And that is part of the reason why toys are so important, and why the heritage of them really is so important that we try to keep it and engage with the physicality of what a toy is. You know, to close on the Whinnie the Pooh piece, it really is a case of the stories were started because a man watched his son engaging with his toys. And you look at that nearly 100 years on and realize that actually it brought so much joy to the world because a man spotted the joy the child got engaging with his toys. And that's the bit we mustn't forget, is that children do need toys, and they shouldn't all be throwaway plastic ones. They should be things that really engage with them, and things that it's so easy now to walk into a shop and buy too many toys, but the fact is it's still really important that they have them, and that they engage with them and they learn to use them, and not on a device.
This journey has been fun and insightful for all of us. Meeting these people and travelling to these places brought me a new sense of clarity on my own love of stuffed toys, and how they've brought me comfort throughout my life, especially after learning how other people's toys have done the same for them, even Christopher Robin and his father A.A. Mion. Now, we can go home.